Okay, now we're going to talk about how we can use the trigonomic form to divide complex numbers. Now, we haven't actually talked about how to divide complex numbers in our standard form, and this is how we would do it. So if we had 1 minus I over 1 plus I, to divide here, what we do is we multiply by the conjugate of the denominator over itself. So this is of the denominator. So we're going to multiply by 1 minus I over 1 minus I because that's the conjugate of the denominator here. So in the numerator here we get 1 minus I plus I squared. And in the denominator we get 1 minus I plus I minus I squared. So up top here, we would have the I squared would be -1, so we'd have 1 minus 1 would be 0. And then we would have -I minus I, so minus 2I, over the denominator here, the i's would cancel out. This would be -1, so it would be minus and -1 would be plus 1, so we'd have 1 plus 1, which is 2. And then we'd write this, we'd split it up into the 0 over 2 minus 2 over 2I. So this would just be -I, okay? But that's a lot of work just to get to -I. So we are going to divide using the trig form. And to divide using the trig form, when you have it R1 CIS of theta 1, so that's just your first term, divided by R2 CIS of theta 2, you divide the r's, so R1 over R2, and then you subtract theta 2 from theta 1. So if it was already in trig form like this, we have 10, this is the same as 10 CIS of 50, divided by 4 CIS of 20. And so we take 10 over 4 CIS of 50 minus 10. So this would be 5/2 CIS of 40 degrees. And we'd be done. Okay, so to do that with 1 minus I over 1 plus I, the first thing we need to do is to convert both of those. So to convert 1 minus I to trig notation, okay, so first we need to find our r, which would be the square root of our a squared plus our b squared, which will be the square root of 2. And then remember, theta is equal to tangent inverse of b over a, so -1 over 1. And remember here, if we're doing 1 minus I, we're going to be down in the fourth quadrant. So if we look at our unit circle, so here's our unit circle, and we look in the fourth quadrant where tangent would be -1. Okay, that would be here at 315 degrees. So 1 minus I in trig notation is square root of 2 CIS of 315. So that's up top here. Oops, I don't know why I wrote 317 there. Over, so now we want to do 1 plus I. So for our r, we're going to have the square root of 1 squared plus 1 squared, which will be the square root of 2. And our theta will be tangent inverse of 1 over 1. Now this 1 plus I is up here in the first quadrant, so we want to know where is tangent equal to 1 in the first quadrant, which will be 45 degrees. So 1 plus I is square root of 2 CIS of 45 degrees. So now using the rule, we'll take square root of 2 over square root of 2, which is just 1. And then we'll have CIS of 315 minus 45, which will be 1 CIS of 270. And if you think about what that means, right, so we're going out 1 unit and then we're rotating 270 degrees, that would be right here, which in standard form would be negative I, because we'd just be going down 1 on the I-axis. Okay, so especially if it's already in trig notation, dividing it is very easy.